Nox Box, everything you need to take your game from the box to the board.
Hey guys, welcome to Nox Box. I am Nock himself, and with me tonight is Cordial Rob.
Here again.
We are back once again with the Renegade Master. No, sorry. We're back once again with Mantic.
Right, okay. We have been donated kindly.
Very kindly. Thank you, Mark Wallace.
The Kings of War 2-player battle set. As we have just finished backing the Kickstarter.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, with armies on the way, we will need to be more in tune with what their actual products are.
So, Kings of War. As a quickly base ground, the shop Nox Box stocks all of Mantic's sci-fi stuff.
Yes.
And that's it. But with the Dungeon Saga coming out, amazing. It's a proper dungeon crawler, really good. I started looking, it's Kickstarter.
That's the upgrade of the Dwarf Hold.
It is, yes, the new version of Dwarven Hold. Dwarf King's Hold. And so with that, I started looking at their fantasy models.
You were a bit sceptical originally about
I
the
was very
fantasy
sceptical.
section. Because usually it's seen as the sort of knockoff version of the Games Workshop efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I saw their zombies. And their zombies changed the way I modelled undead. Their zombies look amazing. So I use their zombies for anything I can.
You really like their sci-fi zombies as
I
well.
love these sci-fi zombies are amazing. They're new hard plastic are. So yeah, that made me open my eyes and think, actually, I will give Kings of War a chance.
Because when you first saw this Kickstarter, you were going...
I was unsure, but because it was a Mantic Kickstarter, I knew I would get an amazing deal for my money, so I went for it.
And then when we knew that the Mantic Open Day was coming up, one of our first things on the list was to go and actually have a physical look at Kings of War, see how it played, talk to some of the people about the product, and get a general feel for the item.
And I can say, it is an absolute game in its own right.
Yes.
It's not like playing any other game. It's a game designed for playing with big armies. But big armies don't take you all day to play, which you do find with some other game systems out there. Here you can have a humongous, an apocalyptical size game, and it'll be over in an afternoon. It's amazing the way they do damage. Oh, well, sorry.
We'll get to that. We'll start with this. Here is the product. We will be unboxing it, and then we'll give a bit of analysis of gameplay and what we've seen so far.
Absolutely.
Ready when you are? Okay, Kings of War. This is based on the fictional landscape of Mantica. This involves undead, orcs, ogres, Basilians, which are a realm of man with battle angels. So some of their mechanics are if there's an angelic unit near their models, they get buffed and stuff like that. The ogres tend to fight as mercenaries, so you might see them in a couple of factions. The undead seem to fight everybody, which is always highly amusing. There are the forces of nature, which are quite shamanistic, so treekin, rock elementals, naiads, because that's some of the models for them are from some of their other products.
Yeah, the Abyssal Fire guys, they're in the nature, aren't they now?
Yes, you've got your Abyssal Dwarfs, your regular Dwarfs, your Abyssal Demons. So, all in all, there's Darkkin as well, and Elves.
And the way it works, it moves into, you've got good armies, evil armies, and neutral armies.
Yeah.
And good can work with neutral, and neutral can work with evil, but good and evil can't work together.
Yes. So there's scenarios where you might, if you have your opponent's permission, or you're having a good even laugh, you'll have different armies working together on a large scale.
Yes.
So...
It's a big box set.
It's quite sizable.
Oh, but it's quite thin. But it's massive.
This has got, if I quickly read off the back, 20 skeletons. 20
Show us the back,
zombies.
Rob.
Well, okay.
Show us. Oh, what's that? Oh,
Okay.
good artwork. Are these the actual armies you get?
Yes.
You get loads.
Yeah, so you get 20 skeletons, 20 zombies,
Wait a second.
10 ghouls, 5 wraiths.
This is literally two £50 Mantic starter armies in a box set for £75.
Yes.
Someone did some maths wrong there.
No, if you want to see some really horrific maths, you look at their Kickstarter, where you pay for the book, and then you pay almost nothing for the armies. Because they've price point this is excellent.
£75 for two armies.
Two starter
okay,
armies.
but obviously they'll be like GW. They're not legal armies, are they?
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
The-
Minimums, right, okay, points for these. Minimum points we saw at the Mantic's game day was about 800. But that's 4 units, maybe?
Wow.
But because that's a way to get very quick games in and get used to the game mechanics and some of the different rules and stuff, so most of the rules are quite self-explanatory. So crushing strength is +1 to your attack dice. Things like piercing, that's minus to your opponent's defense dice. So it's a really nice self-explanatory game. So if we quickly have a look on here, you've got wraiths. They're very difficult to kill, so they've got a really high defense roll because they're intangible.
Yeah.
But the odd thing about them is instead of life points, you get a thing called nerve, which is a sort of cross between morale and life points.
Now, I think that we'll have to cover slightly more.
Yeah.
Let's look at the figures.
We'll look at the figures.
Let's look at the figures.
So, you've got your zombies, you've got your... Sorry, zombies, ghouls, skeleton warranters, which I love, wraiths. You've then got your orc axes, your goblins, your orclings, and your gore riders.
Nice.
So, out of the box, you can play with this straight away. And because they both count as evil things, you can have them work together and have an army.
Oh, fantastic.
Straight off the bat.
That's amazing.
Now, usually with these, you'll be getting dice, I believe. However, because this was one from the game show, there were no dice.
Oh, okay, yeah, because this is a special copy for us to...
Yeah, right, okay. The bases will start...
Sorry, just to begin with, you've opened up that box.
Yes.
There's no rule books at the start, there's no leaflets, there's a huge amount of figures.
There is a rule book, and we'll get to that shortly.
But it's just figures.
Well, we'll
That's
get to
a
that in
box of
quite a bit.
sprues.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
You open that up, and is it just me? I look at that and I say, ooh.
There's no air gap.
No, there isn't.
Okay, so we'll start with the base. One
let's-
of things. Sprues. Now, usually in these sort of game systems, everything has to be on its individual sprue. In Kings of War, it doesn't work like that.
No. From my understanding, each figure fits onto a base. And then those bases, when they make up a unit, obviously that is the size of the unit. Instead of modelling them like this, you can throw the bases away and use a single piece of plastic that big and model a diorama on it.
Yes, and the standard way to do that is, I think it's Warbase is a company they Mantic work with for their kicks. With their
I believe
Kickstarter
so,
work.
yes, yeah.
So they'll be doing standard sized bases for half regiment, horde. I think there's one more. The zombies have something that's extremely large.
Yeah.
But that will be a standardized size, and then what we saw at the games day was someone had cavalry, and it was charging down a slope. Or
Yeah, it looked amazing, didn't it?
Or an ogre artillery thing where it had the spotter in a ditch, and on a raised mound was the flinger and things like that.
So
if you like modelling for dioramas, this is actually a very nice game system for that. But the only thing I would say about it would be transport and storage.
yes.
But
again, you can see.
as a start,
Have they given us far too many bases here, or is there really this many figures in there? Because that's huge. 10, 20... No, those are bigger ones.
40, 50...
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 of those bases, 16 of those, a big... Oh, there's just so much stuff.
Yes.
Wow, well, these are the bases. Let's just... Figures.
Okay, right. Whew, where should we start? I can see some zombies. We'll start with them.
Go for zombies.
Okay, Mantic zombies. These are a really nice product. I can rant on about all day about what good product
So you got
they
bodies, heads, legs. Oh, and if I turn it over,
are. One coming out the ground.
one come out of the ground. So that makes up to 4 zombies of your choice. I believe.
That it does. Now, that's
Or does each one move 3?
that's one, two.
Oh, there's only 3
4.
bodies.
4.
3 bodies.
Three walking bodies and one crawling out of the ground.
But there's actually 3 bodies. So each
Yeah.
one makes 3 figures, but has 4 different bases, 4
Yeah.
different leg ends, 6 different heads, 3 different bodies, different arms, so you've got a lot of options.
Yeah.
So that's the zombie body. That's the zombie sprues. We've got a lot of zombie sprues. Wow, that's some building.
So, Unit 20.
Wow, that's a unit of zombies.
Well, no, that's a small unit of zombies.
Wow.
Zombie hordes are up to 60 models.
60. 60.
60. When we get to the rulebook, I'll speak to you a bit more about how the unit systems works.
Awesome.
But, you know, if you want mass battle, this will be a game system you will be very, very interested in.
Fantastic. So, right, what's the next undead thing?
Right.
Oh, those skeletons.
Skeletons.
Right, I'm going to turn it sideways so we can have a look.
You like lots of skeletons,
So,
right?
look at those different options. You've got banners. Oh, okay. Well, they're very easy to put together.
Yes.
I was expecting fiddly nightmares. That's not bad at all.
Nope. And the thing with...
And you can mix and match the bodies and the torsos to change it up, and then you have some choices as well.
I think with these ones, it's, if I remember rightly, if you upgrade them to lances, they get a rule called phalanx, and then they get a re-rolls on some attacks and stuff like that. So, or if you've got sword and shield, you get an additional bonus to defense.
Nice. So that's 20 of those.
20 of those. But, you know, that's a unit in 2 sprues.
Yeah, that's good.
That's like historic stuff. Because, you know, that's my go-to for these sorts of things. Right. Now, ghouls.
Ah, so these are the ghouls. So they come 2 to a sprue with a choice of heads and things. So you can mix and match them again. So you've got 5 of those. That's a unit of 10 of them. So yeah, very cool. Some amazing detail on them. That hand looks amazing. Oh, it's not a hand. It's yeah, those are cool. So that is a unit of 10 of those.
Unit of 10 of those.
Put them in a pile of sprues. That's a lot of sprues.
Then we have orc axes.
So that's the undead.
That's most of the undead. That is the undead apart from the characters and oh god, then we've got
characters as well. Really?
Of course.
So those are orcs.
Well,
the orcs are big.
Next.
Orcs are very big.
Yes. But these.
Oh, look at the orclings. They're amazing.
Yes, because you'll have a couple of sprues worth of orclings.
Awesome.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe it's 15 altogether.
Yep, that is 15.
And then you've got your, I think it's additional upgrades for your unit. So standard bearer and musician. Now,
so you've got a single upgrade sprue.
The standard bearer and musician rules are very interesting. A musician reduces the nerve of the opponent unit you're attacking.
Oh, okay.
It terrifies them, whereas a standard bearer gives you an additional number for your nerve roll.
Ah, so that the banner bearer supports your troops.
Yeah.
The musician unnerves the other troops.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I think is a really nice, simple way.
I think I can see the rulebook now. Well, that can't be a rulebook, surely. No, it's tiny.
We'll get to that in a minute. We then have wraiths. Now, I love these personally.
Now, in these bags, does that mean they're vestic? Or no, these are plastic again.
Plastic.
Oh, good.
But they come pre-clipped.
Oh, those are really cool.
So you like...
Oh, look at that one.
Well, you know, with sides.
That's cool.
Or maces. Or carrying skulls. So you get 5 of those.
Yeah.
Things like raids that are exceptionally hard to get rid of, they'll be a lot more expensive and they'll come in a lot smaller units and usually they'll have a lot less attacks. So I think a unit of 5 of them does literally 5 attacks. But
they're very hard to kill.
A maximum unit of 10 of them.
Yeah.
But basically you sit them in front of someone else and you just go, yeah, so you'll be sitting here all day while my other thing slams into your side, gets rid of your bonus and just kills you.
Absolutely.
Right, okay. Now I believe these are archers.
Ah, these are the orc archers.
From the size they might be goblins actually.
Oh.
If I go like that. Yeah, goblins.
Oh, look at them.
So
They look cool.
Another 20.
Wow. It's another unit of 20.
Yeah. Because, you know, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And then we've got... That's all of this stuff.
I'm running out of space.
It's a humongous amount of sprues.
Now, this is a fun one. This is cavalry. Cavalry is well, historically, cavalry is usually fairly disgusting, though it is usually well deserved. Cavalry has a very large movement, usually compared to other models, and usually hits exceptionally hard, but is then susceptible to people hitting their flanks.
Absolutely.
So in this game system, you'll be finding cavalry is something you really want to look out for, and we'll try and pepper as much as possible with your archers and war machines. So if I get... here's your...
Oh, so these are the first proper... Oh, no, with the... I suppose the skeletons and stuff are multi-part as well, but... So those are the arms.
So there's your musician. There's your...
That's heads and bits.
That's heads and bits. And there's the bodies.
Okay.
So if I... These are...
Yeah, if you get a couple of bodies out so we can see them. Just a couple of them. So you can see the different styles of the... That's an upgrade for spears. Those are shields and heads and all sorts there. And these are the bodies. Just the bits will be fine.
Right, so there's the sides.
Okay, so these go together. So these are like boar riders of sorts, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you've got the rider to go on the top.
So I'm struggling to find... Ah, and there's the head.
Ah, now the head. That's the one we want to see. Let me just try to... Oh, wow. So actually the head has a tongue that goes into it as well.
Yep, I'm just attempting to find one now.
That's cool.
I need a bit...
Okay.
But, you know... So, 2 full armies, right?
Yeah, that's insane. So you've got a pile of cavalry there.
I think the tongues might be in there.
A huge amount of figures. Right, okay. That is the box set.
That's why I like... Look at the fur on that.
Oh, that is good.
It's not that horrible triangle-y stuff that I've seen lately in some companies.
Yeah, they've actually looks like fur.
Yeah.
Right, guys. That was the box set. Now, I want to touch on something we did... Sorry, I want to touch on something we touched on earlier.
Right.
This is 10 Mantic bases.
Yes.
When those are cut off and clipped together, they become a unit of 10 models.
Yes.
In conventional war games, a model's killed, you take a model off.
Yes.
In Mantic, that is not the case.
This is very similar to the way some of the historicals play, but that's usually at a much higher model number, and you'll usually have a dice holder at the back of that unit,
Absolutely.
signifying what strength that unit is at.
So,
and that'll be a multiple of 10, 20 or 100.
Whereas in this, you don't have wounds at all. The way it works is a unit has what they call nerve, and that's how much the unit believes it can carry on.
Yeah.
So if you crush the unit's nerve, the whole unit disbands and the whole unit disappears.
And
so the whole unit is either there or it's gone.
not.
You don't ever take 1 or 2 off.
No.
So this leads to an amazing modelling opportunity for me. In my book, I love modelling. That's my favourite part of the hobby. So like this, Vogue. So yeah. So when you put these together, they make a unit this size.
Yes.
So what you can do is never use these bases.
Nope.
Use a piece of plastic this size.
Yep.
Model them, if they're wraiths, coming out of a haunted tower. Have skeletons crawling up out the ground. It's a unit that would take up the space of 10 people. If you put 5 models on there that look nice, it counts as a unit of 10.
Because it's based on
the base size.
On the base size. And you'll find in some of the newer stuff, they'll have the actual what size each represents each size unit. Because most people aren't going to get 60 zombies to stick together. Well, you could, and it would look like a complete utter swarm running towards you.
Well, that's the thing. If you have 40 zombies in just rank and file, it looks like a large group of rank and file people. You get a base that is about that size that would hold 40 zombies, and instead you put on a circle of only 20 zombies climbing over each other, ripping people apart, climbing through doorways in a circle, crawling out the earth like they're all mounding together. That looks so much more thematic. Takes less figures, which actually means suddenly your 40 zombies can make 2 40 zombie units if you use them properly.
Well, with some of the Mantic scenery, they add additional gravestones and stuff like that in some of the boxes, so it won't be too difficult to see that. I'm going to be paying bazillions. And because when we went to Mantic the other day, someone had brought their bazillion army, instead of the blue and white they'd done it sort of grimy silvers and reds, but it looks really striking. He had another one where his cavalry were charging down, but his crossbowmen were behind a palisade and stuff like that, and I really like stuff like that, because I look at it and go, oh yes, I can see that from such and such and such. Thank you very much, very good.
Yeah, for me, ogres. The ogre models,
really impressive.
Well, I saw them pictures online and I thought they look gangly and silly. Saw them in person, they look amazing.
And they're a lot bigger than a man-sized model.
Huge. But the thing is, with the way you can model figures this way,
Yeah.
you can model a unit of ogres, like mid-killing a load of other people's monsters. I want to have an ogre bashing a knight to death through his plate armour.
Yeah.
And I can do that. And it's amazing. So anyway, what we didn't show you is the rule book. Now, the rule book, I looked at it and I thought, I don't know if I've got time to read that. After all, it's a pamphlet.
Advertising pamphlet, to be honest.
I thought this is advertising. It's a pamphlet. And that, it's not, it does also contain full army lists. It's ludicrous.
Well,
there's 20 pages of rules.
To be fair to this, most of the stuff you can get is you can download for free from the Mantic website. So the Brazilian army list, the elves, the dark elves, the
You're glossing over
dwarfs, abyssal dwarfs,
20 pages.
ogres, goblins, orcs.
The full army. The full rules are in 15 pages.
Yes.
And that includes war machines.
Yes.
Then you've got the special rules for 5 pages. Then you're done. That's all the rules there are to learn.
Yes.
Why did no one show me this earlier? I thought I had to have at least 3 backpacks full of books in order to play a game. No one told me I could play it with 20 pages. I want to play it.
You haven't mentioned the best bit.
What's the best bit?
Attacking.
Go for it.
In most of these things, you get bonus dice for attacking or stuff like that. In this, you have an attack stat. It is that stat. And in most units, if it's 10, it'll be 10 attacks. And then you'll go up with large units to 20. So, you know,
Your
you'll be attacking.
unit determines your stat.
You'll be going, alright, 20 dice. And that'll be your attack. So if I quickly grab this off him.
Yeah, I've got the example pages up here.
Okay,
So you've got, well, first off, your first stat is speed.
how
That's
fast
how
you move.
far you move.
So your movement, you can move to the side, you can move backwards, you can move forwards, or you can move double forwards.
And that's it.
Ah, you didn't mention pivoting.
Oh, pivoting's free. 2 pivot on a charge it is anyway.
Yeah.
But normal pivoting, once per turn free, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the first stat is speed. And that's it. That's how far you move. You don't have to, there's no, when you charge, is it your movement? Twice your movement.
Twice your movement.
You move twice your movement.
Well, at least that's
And
how
that's
I've
it.
seen it
You
used.
don't roll dice, there's no guess ranges, it just, that is your move. That is how far you charge, you make it.
There is no variable charge in this.
Then you have 3 stats, melee, range, defense. Melee is the stat you need, no, sorry, it's the stat other people need to hit you. No.
You hit them.
Melee is the stat you hit other people on. Range is the stat you shoot other people on. Defense is the stat that any other attacks need to hurt you.
You roll your defense dice.
No, they roll against your defense for wounds.
For wounds.
And then attacks is how many attacks you have.
This is also all on a D6 system. Because originally we were going, oh,
It's
it'll
just,
be
everything's
D8s
there.
again, because, you know, quite a few Mantic game systems roll D8. But it's always rolling up, I believe.
Yes, it's all rolling up.
We had to ask about that.
And it's, but the thing is, all the stats are there. You don't compare them to other people's. If you're attacking, it's how good you are at hitting. If you're being hit, your opponent has to hurt you depending on how good your defense is. There's no comparisons, it just does it. It's really quick, it's really simple. You don't have any mucking around. There isn't any rules you can argue about, as far as I can see it.
Okay.
They're just there.
So I'll now quickly have a look at I was saying about, so you have troop size, which is 10, a regiment, which is 20, a horde, which is 40. And that you've got the points to go with it, their nerve cost, the cost that you've got to beat to disrupt and destroy that unit.
And all the units
So simple.
are, in essence, all humans are on, that's not all humans, all human-sized models, which is nearly everything, are on that size base.
Yes.
There's no different bases, so the sizes are really obvious. The monstrosity creatures are on this size base. And then you've got cavalry on that size base. And barring a few exceptions far and few between, that's it. So your base sizes are all the same as each other's. So you don't have to worry about having, 20 long and 5 deep. Everyone is standardised.
And the thing that's coming out with rules version 0.2 is the height. Now, when we looked through Infinity, they had the silhouette So if you could see the silhouette, you could see the model, and it went from that height. It was basically counts as a cylinder
But
around
it meant
that
that
model.
if you had a model that looked amazing, you weren't punished for how big it looked.
Yes.
And if you had a model that was tiny and left on the floor, you didn't get a massive bonus that no one could see it.
Yeah.
What they've done in Infinity, and then the same in Kings of War, is they have said, this is the size a model of that size takes up.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how big the actual model is, if you can see this, you can see the model.
Yes, because
so you can do what I said earlier about having wraiths coming out of a tower, so you can have a decent-sized piece of scenery moving around as your units. It looks
with
amazing.
sides coming out of the walls,
Yeah.
hacking people to death.
And actually, in a tournament, you wouldn't get penalised for it. Because it would just look amazing.
It doesn't count as terrain.
No.
It doesn't count as blocking line of sight unless
because
it's...
it just counts as the unit.
Yes.
And the way it is a unit that's height 2 can see over a unit that's height 1. Yeah?
Yeah.
And a unit that's height 1 can look over a unit that's height 2 to see something that's height 3. It doesn't matter how big it physically is, because you can model it however you want. So for me, it just opens up a whole range of options I didn't have with other game systems, because you get penalised for big wings, dynamic poses, suddenly your model can get seen.
Standing on a rock.
Oh, yeah, you can't. Oh yeah, you don't want any of your characters standing on a rock because it makes them taller. Yeah, people can see them.
Snipe them out with a cannon.
Yeah. So yeah, it's.
What I like is some of the simple stuff. So interpretations when pivoting. If in reality, regimented units are more flexible in rearranging their ranks than our miniatures, so we allow units that are pivoting around their centre as part of their move to move through both friend and enemy units and all types of terrain, including blocking terrain, and even the edge of the table, as long as you finish your move fully.
Absolutely, so you can move through anything during your move.
Yeah.
When you're pivoting, because in theory, most units don't march cohesively.
No.
Obviously, trained and disciplined soldiers do, but an orc rabble just comes together and spreads apart to go through different things. It makes perfect sense to me. It looks like a really good game system. I'm really excited about it, knowing about these modelling opportunities, and I'm looking forward to having a game with this one.
Even got magical artifacts.
Don't. Right, we've been waffling for ages.
Right. We shall assemble it, we'll have a couple of games, and then we'll come and give you a second review.
Amazing.
Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Remember to subscribe to the channel and like us on Facebook for all of your gaming needs.